Last night, a mature South Asian male with a determined expression walked.
I never imagined my marriage would die on a quiet Thursday evening. Music was playing softly, vanilla candles were glowing, and our home felt warm. But that was the night everything I believed in began to unravel. My name is Alden, and for most of my life I clung to the idea that loyalty could survive anything. I thought that if you loved honestly and showed up every day, the person you loved would stay anchored beside you. But loyalty doesn't shield you from betrayal. It only slows the moment you finally see it. Marissa had been drifting for months. Later nights, sharper words. A phone that lived face down, passwords suddenly changed, and excuses wrapped in strained smiles. I gave her the benefit of every doubt because love makes us generous with the lies we tell ourselves. But even a quiet home can hide the sound of something breaking. And on that night, the first crack finally echoed. Marissa told me a colleague named Rowan would be stopping by. Just a quick project discussion, she said, with that airy smile she only used when she was lying. I told her it was fine. I even offered to make coffee. For a moment, she looked startled, almost disappointed. Then Rowan arrived. He didn't have any files, no laptop, nothing that looked like work. But he did bring a bottle of Marissa's favorite wine. He greeted her with a hug that was one breath too long, one gesture too familiar. A single silent second that told me everything. I stood there, an invisible witness in my own home, as they exchanged private glances and inside jokes. Their rhythm was effortless. Too effortless. I didn't interrupt. I didn't question. I didn't fight. I just watched. There is a very specific kind of heartbreak that arrives not with shouting, but with clarity, cold, heavy, and final. And in that moment, I understood I wasn't losing Marissa. I had already lost her. While they laughed in the kitchen, I slipped down the hallway and opened the bedroom closet. My suitcase was waiting on the shelf like it had known this moment long before I did. I packed without shaking hands or angry tears. Shirts folded neatly. Documents sorted. I even packed a sweatshirt Marissa always teased me for wearing. With every item I placed inside, the weight on my chest lightened. I wasn't abandoning anything. I was reclaiming myself. When I stepped back into the living room, they froze. Rowan's confidence vanished. Marissa's face drained as her eyes fixed on the suitcase. "Alden, what are you doing?" She whispered. "I'm leaving," I said. No drama, no raised voice. Just truth. What exactly were we going to talk about? The secrecy? The passwords? The distance? Or the way she glowed for another man in the home we built together? I placed my key on the coffee table. "I'm not making assumptions," I told her softly. "I'm making a choice, and choices, unlike excuses, don't tremble." Marissa followed me to the front door, panic cracking her voice. "You can't just walk out, we're married." I paused. I looked at her, really looked. The desperation in her eyes wasn't love. It was the fear of losing control. "Marissa," I said, "you walked out long before I did." Her breath faltered. "And I'm not leaving because of him." I glanced briefly at Rowan, pale and silent behind her. "I'm leaving because of you." I stepped into the cool night air. She didn't follow, didn't reach for me, didn't confess. She just stood behind the glass wall, trembling and already too late. There was no shouting, no dramatic end scene. Just a man choosing peace over a war he never agreed to fight? And sometimes the softest exits cut the deepest. I drove to my sister Isla's house. She opened the door before I even knocked. "You're done, aren't you?" she asked. I nodded. "Yeah, I'm done." She didn't ask for the story. She didn't need it. She just stepped aside and said, "Come in." That night I slept in her guest room. Not peacefully, no newly broken heart sleeps peacefully, but honestly. And somehow, that honesty felt like a victory. The next morning, my phone buzzed with Marissa's missed calls and frantic messages. "You misunderstood. We need to talk. Please come home. I don't want to lose you." But not once did she say, "I'm sorry," or "Here's the truth." She wanted harmony without honesty, a marriage without accountability, a home without trust, so I turned the phone face down. But this time, it wasn't to hide anything. It was to protect my peace. The shockwaves spread for days. Friends reached out. Her cousin said she was devastated. Rohan vanished, and me, I wasn't devastated, I wasn't furious. I was free. Because when someone emotionally invites another person into your home long before they ever step inside physically, the relationship has already ended. You're just the last one to admit it. Weeks later, I filed for separation. My exit wasn't explosive, it was calm, measured, unforgettable. Because it was the first time I chose myself over a version of love that hurt more than it healed. And sometimes the quietest exits echo the loudest. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more.